Hey YouTube, just getting... Is this lead? Sorry, it was making that noise yesterday with another different guitar. Yeah, so quick plug tomorrow night. This is Friday. Tomorrow night playing in Bathgate with Anthrax and the Black Sabbath After the End band. So today, this is built by somebody we know. This is one that Scott built. So this is an original Riddell, called I think he calls it a Hell Paul or a Les Hell, something like that. The reason for that being, apparently one time many years ago he was renovating an old church, and this is either the floorboards or the roof joists, I can't remember which. He took them out of skip and made this body out of it. So apparently he put it, this is before I met him actually, put on, he got a lot of shit off like evangelical Christians in America because he didn't get it consecrated, whatever it is. So basically it is like it was a church for a couple of 100 years. So I don't know how old the wood would have been when they made a church out of it, oak or something like that probably. So that's what this body is made of. I think he bought the neck and did it in. He's done he blowtorched the back. So it's like kind of, it doesn't look very good in the picture actually, but it's unbelievably smooth. I think he said he spent days sanding it. It's like what you do is you kind of, if you burn it, really heat it up, then just sand it like a Maddie for days. It kind of crystallises and goes solid, kind of like, your idea with your roasted maple, that kind of idea. You can kind of do that, so it's ridiculously smooth. It's also, I don't think, but is that some sort of veneer in the headstock? So you can actually see there's a big knot, which is slap bang centre in the middle of the headstock. I think that implies that it's a veneer that he's cut out of the original wood. Sorry, this is going to fall off because it had a strap lock on it. I couldn't bother attaching it. Yeah, so what we've got is basically a Les Paul Jr. It's a bit fingerprinty, but this is I need to learn how to do that. This has a very similar looking finish to my Fender Music Master. So it's like, I can't remember, did he say he painted it white and then painted it black and did shit to it to get it to look like this? It does have a bit of an issue, the reason I've got it. He built this and sold it a few years ago, and in fact I think it might be a good few years ago, and got it back because the action was too high because they've replaced the bridge. So this originally had a bridge similar to what's on this. So you got your one piece. Is there any reason why I can't take that off for short? Yeah. So it's like it's like a one piece bridge, like so, with like an intonation ridge on it. And he said it was playing absolutely super, and the owner decided to put on one of these badass type things because they like the idea of having intonable saddles. And the problem with these is they sit higher, and this is a set neck, so it's not a case of shimming the neck. So the action is just too high. Be fine in an acoustic. It's one of those ones. It's like if you actually look at my wee string gauge ruler, you can get these for about £1 from eBay. Electric guitar string height is 1.5 to 2 millimeters, and this is coming in at just over 2 millimeters. So it's not miles away. It should be better. It's still still playable. I mean, it's fine for an acoustic, but it's just a little bit off. And I'm even leaving the strings like this because he's going to buy a proper bridge one that's just lower. I had a very similar problem with the Tony Iommi guitar I built out of the vintage SG. I still have an original badass bridge, this is a copy of, which looks pretty much the same. The thing is, it's about 5 millimeters higher than the badass one, so I could put the badass one on this and it would probably sort it. Just to, I did actually eventually manage to get that one so it could go too low, but I did that by recessing these bolts. Like not just the actual bolt, but like the actual the skirt on it. Where's it there? The way I got around it was actually recessed to, see this wee bit here, the wee bit on the bottom here. I actually had that recessed into the body so that I could get the bridge totally sitting flat on the body of the SG, and that was too low. So that gave me just enough. So I like the idea of it being able to go too low. Okay, so then you can raise it up a couple of millimeters, get it perfect. This one is as low as it goes just now. You could take these out and then recess it and do exactly the same thing, but it's quite a lot of work, and I'd be worried about chipping the body and all that stuff. So it might just be an easier option just to buy a thinner, a less height bridge. Also, I put these chrome bolts in it, because if you look at, as I'm talking about these things, the gap between the top and the bottom bit in these is a couple of millimeters bigger than this, so the bridge actually sits in it. And if you imagine it sits in it, when you pull it up, it kind of goes at an angle, because the bridge is only 2 millimeters shorter than this gap, or 2 thinner than this gap. So it's got chrome things in it, which is sorted it halfway, because the action was really high when I got it. You know, it's like a classic 4 slide, which would be fine if it was just a cheapy guitar. But this is clearly a sort of handmade and should be awesome. You can kind of feel that it is awesome. To be honest, I've not even plugged it in or turned it on. The pickup must work because it ran the tuner. There you go. So it's not really going to be that much of a demonstration of what it sounds like, although I will quite enjoy it. But my favourite feature, which I've already told them I'm going to steal it as soon as I saw it. This has another scratch plate, and I've just lost my fingernail there. So this. See the 3 screws that hold this on? They've been cut down like that, right? So they're flat. And in the holes in the guitars, we neodymium magnets. So you can actually, I think the other one's purple, so you can just swap over the scratch plates. Easy. And obviously I'm looking at this going, oh. See, if you had like a Telecaster and you did this, you could put a different pickup. So you could have like one with nothing on it, and then have like, so, like a fan clip they're called. You know, like when you get EMGs, you get the wee plastic 2 thing connector. I could have that in it, and then I could have like a Telecaster with a scratch plate with like a P90 in it. So you just take it off with the magnets, unclip, clip in the one that's got a humbucker in it, put it in, unclip that, put in the one that's got a Telecaster pickup in it. So it's on my list of, to be honest, I've completely forgotten about that idea, but I'm going to do that, and I think that'd be really cool. So you could literally have, I would have a set Telecaster bridge pickup in the bridge, and then you could just take the scratch plate off. I think it would involve, I'm kind of not talking about this guitar now, I'm talking about the idea here. You'd have to, if I made this bit, made it hollow all the way out in there, so you could lift it out and slide it along with the pickup, there's enough room for the pickup, and lift it out, that would just give me, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? I'm trying to think if there's a way I could do it. If there's see if you had like an Esquire option as well, so it was just a scratch plate with nothing on it. Is there something I could put on the connector that would mean that the 3-way switch did something? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to have a think about it. What really needs a Telecaster project? I'd like to do it with a Tele, because Teles are my favourite, and I think it would just work well. But the idea of having like a Telecaster, and then it's like pure but what, normal layout. Watch this, click. Another one in, humbucker, ho ho. Another one in, P90, ho ho. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be cool? And it'd be pretty easy to do. I mean, you can pick up Telecaster pick guards for like £5-7 quid, something like that. So you could just have 4 of them, and then have every type of pickup, and then have your one guitar, and then it would be like 20 seconds. Once you get good at it, and I'm sure you could make it switch over in 20 seconds. Don't think you would do it between songs, but you could definitely do it for a laugh. Anyway, yeah, so we've got a volume and a tone, CTS pots, treble bleed on it. Oh, that pickup I thought it was a Warman, but it's got a braided cable on it, so it might be like a Gibson or something. So what is this going to sound like? Literally just put these strings on it, so I wouldn't imagine they're going to hold in tune very well, but obviously dirty through to go. going to bend these strings in a bit because I can already feel them going out of tune. The dirty channel on that amp is quite noisy though. Saying that when we were doing playing War Pigs in the studio last night before, after the end, Craig was having issues I think because he was standing so damn close to the amp because the room we were in was twice the size of this room, and that's not enough lot of room when there's 4 of you. So he was having to kind of, in War Pigs, go turn off the distortion pedal, on with the pedal, off with the pedal. So, just one of those things you get with lots of gain. Yeah, stretch the strings in first. I'm going to actually go over to Scott's this afternoon, that's why I'm kind of doing this video just now, without really having done any thinking about it. I'd be tempted to say no, it's not. Well, it's not really surprising it doesn't work. There's no cap on it. I wonder if that's been modified later on. So it's just. There's a wee cap in there, but I don't think it's wired in right. Yeah, so. Ain't holding tune at all. There's not a good advert for Scott's guitar. But to be honest, once I realised that the action wasn't going to go low enough, I never actually bothered intoning it properly, so it's not far off. Hellcaster doesn't want to be. Can I put that actually on top of that? No, it's meant to attach inside it. I think it's definitely one of those things about a Les Paul. It's like the whole idea of just having the strap button. This is all Les Pauls, so that when you put any weight on it, it's got a peeling it off action. So maybe if I hold it a bit more like really nice meaty sound to it though. I do actually fancy at some point getting a single P90, something like this. I still quite fancy is it the SG, the one Mike Oldfield plays, the SG Special, or is it an SG Junior it's called, the one that's basically, it's actually the scratch plate's not an entirely dissimilar shape to this, apart from it's SG shaped and it's got the single dog-eared P90. Is that a dog-eared one? I can't remember if it's a dog-eared one or basically the same pickup. Just you either get the pickup that's got the sort of the dog ears, or you get one that screws in through the middle. Yeah, so not much of a demo of this. Maybe I'll get it back before he returns it, but basically it's just hampered by having the wrong bridge on it. It's one of those things that I've had it. It's happened to me before as well. You know, he spent ages building a guitar, sold it, and going, it's pure perfect. He said it was playing like a pure dream, like a pure brilliant. And then the first thing somebody does is put on a shit bridge, and it's like a cheap one. You can tell by the you know, I've talked about this before. When you get like gold tuners, I mean those tuners are Wilkinson, so they're quite a good gold. But when you get the cheap ones, it's got that sort of brassy, ready type gold on it. You get it. You see it always in. If you ever see like a Chibson Les Paul that's got the gold. It's not the right kind of gold. It's not like a sort of silvery gold. It's a sort of brassy, orangey, ready gold. So I mean, I think this bridge probably cost about £6. So he's a wee bit upset. I think he's actually had this for more than a year when we get given it back to go, oh, it's not working properly, and it's like, what? I've had that before as well. I spent ages building a guitar. I remember it was a I know quite well. I haven't seen him for ages. Steph, and it was a Telecaster I'd built, and it was like it had a bit of a dent on it here. And I was like, okay, it's got a bit of a dent. Apart from that, sell cheeks. It's got a bit of a dent on it. I put fancy wiring and stuff. And I think I put 2 pickups in it and all this. And then I got a photo back next to go. How do we go relic in it? And it was like because it's like that SG I had relicing like a nitro finish. You can sort of chip away at it, and it kind of looks worn. Didn't look good, but yeah, okay. Whereas like a poly finish, like every guitar you could see in here, or maybe not this one, when you belt sand it, it just looks like somebody's belt sanded it. And it just looked like someone had belt sanded it. That was it. It was like, right. It doesn't, you looked at this guitar and there wasn't any case of, oh, that looks worn. It's like, pure, oh, you've sandpapered it. Because it just 100% looked like you sandpapered it. Because I mean, these things, you can't break the finish in these. Not easily, maybe that one actually, because it's kind of cracked. I don't know. It's just a kind of different thing, and that one's obviously me, so it will chip and dent. But all your and that one, okay, it's a bad example because that one doesn't have any paint on it at all, and that one's kind of like an oil finish. So these will wear, but all your poly, all your modern guitars are just, they'll scratch and they'll chip, but they're not going to wear off where your arm's rubbing on it. Yeah, they're just not going to. So I need to get the other one as well. He's got 2 of these. One of them, this is the Hell Paul. He's got another one that he kept for himself, which is a sort of it's kind of like, I think he might have done it before, the sort of the Paranormal series. So it's like a Telecaster, but it's got a strat shaped body. So it's like that's a telly bridge, a telly neck, and a telly scratch plate almost. Sort of modified telly scratch plate in it, but it's a strat shaped body. It's pretty cool. Similar idea with this Torrified, is that the word you used? I can't remember. Made out of hundreds of year old Scottish church wood, or I assume it was a Scottish church. I don't know. I've thought about doing that before myself. He said one of the main problems was he wanted it to keep it. I don't think it's one piece. I think it's maybe a couple of pieces, and obviously he's a natural finish because it's thingy, but he said it was full of nails, so it was really difficult to cut a piece out of it without having any nails in it. And we're talking nails, we're not talking about, like galvanized nails. We're talking about when hundreds of years ago when people used to make nails, so they're like, every one of them's unique and they're sort of iron and kind of square. I've seen it before, and it's like, they're handmade. It's like nobody manufactured, well, they manufactured them, but they weren't made in a factory. Well, they're made in a factory, but a factory consisted of, a shed with smelting and Conan the Barbarian type pouring metal into, or something like that, or however it is you make nails. A long lost art. Now, how do you make nails? You go to B&Q and you buy a bag of nails. Not back in the 16s and the 1700s and all that. You had to get somebody to make nails for you. Yeah, it's just a wee bit. It's a shame with that bridge. It's just. I mean, the thing is, it wouldn't bother me if it was just if someone would give me a shot of this guitar, it'd be fine. But the fact is, I know it's wrong. Because if you handed me this and it was your guitar, I'd go, oh, you like your action a wee bit high. Which I see if you're one of those folk that plays guitar a lot, and then but quite often, you know, they'll have the slide in their pocket and whoo, perfect. It's at that height where it's probably pretty good for slide, but you can still totally play it. Obviously, you can get to a point where you start raising it up and physically you can't play it anymore. This is totally fine for that. Just a little bit acoustic-y feeling. So the reason I actually got this is just to sort out. Scott reckoned there was something wrong with the posts. It's not. It's the bridge. But now, you know, I went in and had a wee bit of dremeling about it. I had other posts and just kind of messing about with it. But really, the solution is to buy the correct bridge. I need to ask him whether he's actually done that. That's a veneer in the headstock, because it's kind of that knot and it's a very old and burnt looking thing. I think what he's done is he's stuck. You can't tell. It's been very hand done though. And it's like the details, the way the wood's kind of gone super crystalline is very nice. But I was up here, oh, maybe I'll do that. It's up here, yeah, what you have to do is get the blowtorch and sand it, and then blowtorch and sand it, and blowtorch and sand it. It took me 3 weeks. Not going to bother doing that. I'll just leave it natural, and then, you know. But it's actually coming back to life, me playing it here. It's feeling and sounding an awful lot better just than it did 15 minutes ago when I first played it. So good luck with your guitar. I've intentionally put 10s on it to annoy him and also not snip the ends so that, because I mean, like all of us, that is like a pure. Can't stand it. But the way I'm looking at it, if he buys a proper bridge, it means he can use these strings for setting up, because you'll be able to put these back through the original bridge if I leave the ends on. Whereas if I don't, you know, you're left with a wee thingy bit when you're trying to poke it through a bridge. Isn't going to work. So, rocking. So, see you tomorrow at Bathgate. I don't know what tomorrow night's video will be, because it will have to be a pre-recorded one. I do have a couple of videos sitting there that I forgot to put out. I did those Ian's pedals of. So, did you not do a video on the orange pedal that's up here? Yeah! So it's still in the computer somewhere. Must have forgotten about it. The ones where I'm using the OBL thing go into a different file. So it's like, I'll have to go and look and see if I can find it. But one of the problems is my memories of doing that orange pedal is I didn't know what it was. It doesn't say on it. It was like not a homemade one. Well, it's a small boutique pedal, I suppose. So it's basically just an orange box with knobs on it. There's no branding or anything on it, so I didn't know what it was. I think I've like, what's this do? No, not very much. What's that? Oh yeah, okay. Should be fun. Rocking. Catch you later.